crowd for one of the hottest teams in college football. James Madison, who has won 5 in a row here in San Marcos, Texas, to take on a Texas State team still searching for their first conference win of the season. It's a Sun Belt showdown to kick off Week 10 of the college football season as we welcome you to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. Should be a good one. The James Madison Dukes in town to take on the Texas State Bobcats. Hi, everybody. Who's ready for some college football on a Tuesday night? Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. When you take a look at this James Madison team, they're doing everything they need to, Rocky. 5 wins in a row, perfect in Sun Belt play. If they keep winning, they could find themselves in the college football playoff.
It's almost November, right? It's when things start to shake itself out here, just about another month of the season. And yes, James Madison is in that conversation. Some things have to shake out in the American Conference, but for them, they just got to keep winning. They're coming off an emphatic win where they put up 63 points last week against ODU. They got to keep it going tonight.
And the one thing that has been consistent for James Madison all season long is the Dukes defense. They have been really dialed in on that side of the ball.
And Jay, the key to James Madison is they have depth, which is such a luxury anymore in college football. They'll rotate 9 or 10 guys on that defensive line. They create a lot of havoc. They get after you, and then those guys in the back make a ton of plays for them. So they're a swarming group that they have. And again, rotating those guys in, ferocious unit they have.
Now this JMU defense, they have been one of the most consistent and dominant units in the entire nation, holding opponents, look at that, on average 237 yards per game. You contrast that with this Texas State offense, Rocky, and the Bobcats, the one thing they've been able to do is move the ball down the field.
They move the ball down the field. They move it down the field a lot. They score a lot of points, put up a ton of yards. And G.J. Kinney, the head coach, he knows how to coach offense, and his theme is get the ball to the playmakers. Guys like that. Bo Sparks, one of the most exciting wide receivers in the Sun Belt Conference. He's been putting up big yardage all year long. Brad Jackson, their quarterback, I think is one of the better quarterbacks in this conference. They got a great run game. They are led by their offense. They get a little help from that defense tonight, Jay. They can make this a ball game.
They have had 12 plays this season of 50 yards or more. The explosive will be on tap on a Tuesday night for this explosive Bobcat offense. We're looking forward to a good one. A Sun Belt showdown to help kick off Week 10 of the college football season on a Tuesday night. We'll have kickoff from San Marcos when we come back. Almost ready for kickoff between James Madison and Texas State. Now, before the season, this was billed as a potential preview of a Sun Belt championship game. Both teams picked high in their respective divisions before the season. James Madison, they held their end of the bargain. Texas State, shockingly 0-3. And you don't even want to know how they lose these games. This is like a Monday night Scott Van Pelt bad beats. They had a lead in all 3 of Sun Belt games in the 4th quarter. Arkansas State scores on the last play of the game. Then the next week they go to Troy, lose in overtime. And then the one against Marshall might have been the most heartbreaking of all. They go down in double overtime.
Yeah, it's just been heartbreakers. They got to figure out a way to close games out. That's what G.J. Kinney told us yesterday. They know their offense is going to perform, but they need some critical stops late in that game to get the victory.
So can Kinney's team find a way at home with the Sun Belt's toughest team so far? James Madison, who is unbeaten in Sun Belt play, in the driver's seat to get to that Sun Belt championship game, but you have to keep winning. They'll have to do it tonight on the road on a Tuesday night. The wind a factor in this one. We have gusts up to 35 miles per hour here in Texas. James Madison right now kicking with the wind behind them. Texas State ready to receive. We are underway. And this will predictably, with that gust of wind, go for a touchback. So week 10 of the college football season is underway on a Tuesday night, and we get our first look at Brad Jackson of this Texas State offense.
And I'll tell you what, Jay, he's been incredible this year. Just a redshirt freshman, but a guy 70% completion percentage. I mean, the dude is accurate, and he's got the playmakers to get the ball to. You'll see in this offense, it's high tempo. You know, they spread the field out. They'll run the ball, bubble screens, then shots downfield. It's an electric group they have.
He's got Lincoln Perry in the backfield on his left hip, averaging more than 5 yards per carry. Again, offense has not been the problem for Texas State in their 3 losses in Sun Belt play. Deflected at the line. Now, this Duke's defense, we told you a moment ago, but they have been dialed in from the start. One of the most consistent units in all of college football. They are the only defense in the country that have held every opponent this season to under 300 yards.
Absolutely incredible.
2nd and 10. Jackson, quick hitter. Out to the tight end. Blake Smith for a gain of 5.
Blake Smith, these guys been out for a couple weeks with an injury. It's good to see him back. And you're going to see in this offense tonight, it is heavy on 2 players. Number 1, Chris Don, and number 11, Bo Sparks. Ball's going to go to them a lot tonight.
Empty set on a 3rd and 5. The redshirt freshman Jackson in trouble. Flushed out to his right. He's got plenty of speed. Picks up the first down. Gain of 6 with the slide to keep the opening drive alive.
And Jay, and there's fast, and then there's fast. Brad Jackson has legit speed, and maybe not all the moves and the jukes and stuff, but he can flat put them down.
And after picking up that first down, you saw Jackson immediately try and get this Bobcats offense into their tempo.
Yeah, this is where they really thrive, in the up-tempo, fast, run a play, get up to the line, call another one.
Jackson, play action, bobbled ball, and it's intercepted. The JMU defense delivers again. DJ Barksdale in perfect position. Kylan Evans might not even come off his helmet.
And it hit him right on the money, and it just pops up in the air, like off his face mask. Kylan Evans, he's kind of like their 3rd go-to wide receiver, guy with some incredible size. I think they wanted to try to get him going early, and this is just a pretty simple little screen pass and off his hands and into the hands of the Dukes.
And what a microcosm on the season for 2 teams going in opposite directions, both preseason favorites in the Sun Belt. JMU 5 wins in a row. The ball's bouncing their way. Texas State 3 straight losses. The ball's bouncing away from them. So a short field for Alonzo Barnett in this Duke's offense. You know, Barnett's coming off his best performance of the season. 4 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. They put 63 points on Old Dominion last time out.
Yeah, you think accounted for 6 total touchdowns. Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Week by a landslide. And we called that game, Jay. He was incredible, especially with his legs. That's something that's come on more and more. He had that ACL injury late last season, but those legs now are finally underneath him and a true weapon.
Opening drive starting in Texas State territory. Another tipped ball, and this one falls incomplete.
And Jay, I'm wondering if this wind is playing havoc in some of this passing game. We saw the incomplete or the interception where Brad Jackson threw it to Kylan Evans. That ball might have been affected a little bit, and that throw right there with this gusting wind affecting this football.
Oh, we said it before kickoff, but gusts up to 35 miles per hour, consistently in the 20s tonight. Already a couple tipped balls, one that led to a JMU interception. Alonzo Barnett and the Duke's offense trying to capitalize. They've got a 3rd and 10 here. Barnett Surveys. Nobody open, decides to just tuck and run it. Well defended by Texas State. No gain. Bobby Crosby came up to make the stop, and now a decision to make, because you're in no man's land here if you're head coach Bob Chesney.
This is, the guy they got to watch right there is the defensive end, number 2, Khalil Alexander, and you'll see why. He gets off that ball, and he is flat coming. Good lockout, tenacious, high motor to the quarterback. He forces Barnett outside the pocket, and now forcing the punt.
But James Madison took over at the 43-yard line of Texas State, didn't gain a yard, and punted away. That's a missed opportunity for the Dukes after the opening drive interception. Brad Jackson and the Bobcats offense have the ball when we come back. Week 10 of the college football season beginning with James Madison at Texas State. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. 2 drives in under 2 minutes to start this game. The wind is clearly a factor.
Big time here tonight, and I think it was a big factor on that drive for JMU. I think I would like to see them hand the ball off and try to run it a little more right there. Getting the ball on the 43-yard line. They put 2 in the air, incomplete, and had to punt.
Texas State's opening drive, a tipped ball resulted in an interception. James Madison takes over at the Texas State 43-yard line. They don't gain a single yard in 3 plays. They passed on all 3 of them and came up empty.
I think in that much maligned Texas State defense, that's a critical stop they got right there. Can get some momentum off of it.
Jackson in trouble. Just trying to take it for positive yardage. Got back to the line of scrimmage there. Xavier Holmes swallowed him up. He'll let you know it.
I'll tell you what, Brad Jackson was scanning that field. There was not a wide receiver open by a long shot. Good coverage.
Play action. Jackson in trouble again. Flush to his right. No option. It may be a little skittish to throw the ball with the 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
You know, because right now Brett Jackson is throwing into that wind, and we've already seen it affect, in my opinion, both sides here. So they're trying to figure this game out a little bit, and he's worried about that rush, and rightfully so, and the wind. So many factors are coming into this game early.
Well, when you were playing in a wind game and you played on defense, you know, who does it favor? It has to be the defense based off this sample.
Especially when it's gusting like it is in this stadium, because it's not like it's a consistent wind. It's nothing, and then boom, all of a sudden it gusts up, and it plays a lot of havoc on that offense.
Nunez kicking into the wind. Wayne Knight calls for the fair catch right at the 50. So James Madison, excellent starting field position on the road on a Tuesday night, looking for their 6th straight win. There's their head coach, Bob Chesney, who's won everywhere he's been. Started at Salve Regina in 2010 in Division III, and here he is in year 2 at JMU.
The guy wins wherever he goes. It's been very impressive, but I think for the Dukes right here, you got the #1 rush offense in the Sun Belt Conference, right? 244 rush yards per game. I'm going to try to pound away at this defense a little bit with that run.
They threw on the opening 3 plays of their previous drive. Barnett, quarterback keeper. He's tough to bring down at 220 pounds, gain of 2.
In this Texas State defense, Jay, they live on havoc plays and chaos. They average 7 tackles for loss and 2.5 sacks per game. They're kind of a feast or famine group. It'll be tackle for loss, negative play, and then they give up a big play. So they got to find a way to keep their aggression, because that's their identity, who they are, but not give up big plays tonight.
Knight the carry, nothing going up the middle, completely stuffed, no gain. That Texas State defense has been stingy.
Well, and they're running into a guy that you might want to try to avoid. Traylon Payne had 24 tackles in the game last week. That was good enough for Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week. I don't know if I ever had 24 in a game, Jay. That's flat getting it done, man. I'm jealous. He's a good player.
Maybe at St. X High School in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's about the last time, yes.
Empty set for Barnett on a 3rd and 8. Might be forced into a pass here. Barnett throws right on the money. James Madison, first down. Nick DeGennaro, who had a huge breakout game a week ago with over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, a monster gain of 19 to move the chains.
And it starts with great protection. Look, he had just the ability to kind of scan the field from left to right, finds DeGennaro wide open, a little hitch route, puts the ball on the money. And you know, Coach Chesney talked to us yesterday here about the importance of starting fast. You want to break their spirits. This drive going on much better here.
Ryan Nolan, the junior safety from Gainesville, Florida, stayed down after the play for Texas State. Good to see him pop up, getting attended to by the Bobcats medical personnel. Going back to the 3rd down conversion for Barnett, that has to do wonders for his confidence. First completed pass of the night. We've mentioned the wind, a huge factor. 5 minutes into this one, gusts up to 35 miles per hour here at San Marcos.
And especially, Jay, as he gets closer and closer to that end zone, that's where him as a run threat really starts to increase.
Had 4 rushing touchdowns last time out against Old Dominion when the JMU offense hung 63 on him. Barnett off his back foot. Inside the 10, pushing that pile inside the 5. Braden Wisłowski, big time yards after the catch, gain of 26.
And Jay, JMU does this better than most teams in college football, the screen game. And what do you do when you have an aggressive defense that likes to fly, to get upfield, like to get up to the passer? You dump the screen over top of them. You use their energy and their aggression against them. And that's a great call right there in that situation. Like I said, JMU's screen game is legit.
And now they're knocking on the door. A 1st and goal inside the 5. Ray Knight powers forward. And they haven't had much success going up the gut. Texas State defending the middle real well in the trenches.
Wayne Knight, what a player. Number 6 in the country in all-purpose yards. Rushing, receiving, punt returns. 5'7", 190 pounds. I compared him last week to Darren Sproles, just in his explosiveness.
Darren Sproles, not exactly known as a goal line guy, so in comes Jordan Fuller. He's more of the bowling ball out of the backfield. Whistles pre-snap. False start against the Dukes.
False start. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
And in an odd way, this opens up the playbook a little bit. Obviously, you want to be 5 yards closer to the end zone, but Alonzo Barnett more willing to run the ball himself, I feel like, when they're not right on the goal line.
Yeah, you're on that 1 yard line. It all gets real packed in there. You're right, maybe a little more breathing room for Alonzo Barnett in this situation.
Sandwich in the backfield.
DeGennaro up top. It's a taller receiver.
Head away in motion. Barnett slings it to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, DeGennaro. And James Madison opens the scoring.
Yeah, and that was the matchup that they won. DeGennaro goes about 6'2", so down here, it's always a good idea. Throw to your receivers that got some height, can jump and get up, and just a good job here. You know, Jaden Rios in man coverage, but a good job by DeGennaro playing that ball for a touchdown.
And what a response by the James Madison offense, who felt like they missed an opportunity on their opening drive, going 3 and out from the 43-yard line. This time, they cash in. James Madison on the road, trying to make it 6 straight wins. Alonzo Barnett on the money. He's got the Dukes up 7.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by RAM, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff, and in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Hey, we're not just football here on a Tuesday night. It's a school night. We'll give you some education here. Lyndon Baines Johnson, 36th President of the United States, and LBJ attended right here at Texas State.
I told you during the break, I tried to go to the LBJ Museum. It was closed until Thursday, though. Tried to get a little more information, but another time.
Well, right now, the home team Bobcats at a 7-0 hole. Alonzo Barnett for the JMU offense, a 6-play, 50-yard drive, which resulted in a touchdown. And Rocky, you were very impressed with the play design on the touchdown pass.
Yeah, and credit for Alonzo Barnett. He found his best route runner, Nick DeGennaro, over Jaden Rios. It's right there, and just watch the route. It's like a mini sluggo. You can run the slant and then go to the go route. And he just pops and puts it in a perfect spot there. Good fancy footwork. He got the DB to break one way, and he comes back to the outside, turns, the ball's right there.
And after going 3 and out in Texas State territory, great response by the Dukes offense to convert that for the opening score. And Texas State offensively needing a response. A team that has lost 3 in a row in heartbreaking fashion. You know, Bob Chesney, James Madison head coach, he goes, if we can jump on them early, try and kill their spirit at home, a team that's been struggling, and I think this is a big drive for this Bobcats offense.
I'd like to see Texas State get their run game going, if nothing else, just to slow this James Madison defensive line down a little bit.
Second and 7. Jackson throws, pass is caught for a Bobcats first down. Needed 7, got 7 to the tight end, Titus Lyons.
And really would like to see, on the other hand, too, Texas State start getting Bo Sparks and Chris Don involved in this game here at some point.
They run it into a white wall right now. Manuel Bush lost his helmet. Big number 0, 350 pounds. His counterpart in the trenches, Terry Lockett, had the tackle. There's Bush running off.
It always, I've told you many times during our broadcast, Jay, that's a linebacker's dream right there. Having a guy who's 6'1", 350 in front of you, just eating blocks up.
Second and 9. They keep it on the ground. Flag thrown for a face mask. And Lincoln Perry ran through it. But McMullen got a
personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Fistful of mask, and it was McMullen subbing in for Bush, who had to run off because he lost his helmet on the previous play, who commits the infraction.
Yeah, he just kind of reaches out there and trying to make a play around the shoulders. Instead, it gets up around the face mask. Came on. Either way, big penalty.
And that could perhaps ignite this Texas State offense after the penalty into JMU territory.
Yeah, maybe take a shot here. Open one up.
Yeah, they keep it on the ground. We don't want to keep repeating ourselves, but the wind definitely a factor. Up to 35 miles per hour. Maybe you don't want to take a shot going into the wind. You go with the conservative run, but only a gain of 1. Play action. Jackson dialing up a shot, and a miscommunication there. Not on the same page with his wide receiver, Chris Don Jr.
And Chris Don, he is more the vertical guy. Bo Sparks is the in space, juke around, find the open stuff underneath. Chris Don is the guy. He's a 10, 400-meter guy. He's the one that stretches the field.
Interesting enough, Sparks has not even been targeted tonight. He's at the bottom of your screen, number 11 in black. Elijah Culp has had his number most of the night. Here he is, first catch of the night, but it's defended well. Only a gain of 3, and that brings up 4th down. What do you do here?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a good idea just to finally get Sparks involved in this game. I would punt this football right now and pin them back. Your defense playing playing decent, but looks like they're going to see this as an opportunity to go here. I think the factor of the going into the wind would be the biggest reason I'd punt, but here they go.
4th and a long 6. Empty set for Jackson. Play clock down to 3. JMU sends forward. Jackson throws a quick hitter, but well short of the sticks. Mavin Anderson bottled up by Trent Hendrick, and that is a turnover on downs.
Yeah, 4th and 6 in that area of the field. You're throwing into the wind. I would have punted that football, as I stated. I think that was a little desperation on the part of Texas State going for it right there.
So once again, James Madison, they'll have their 3rd straight drive with favorable field position, up 7. College football primetime presented by Ram Trucks. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. Kicking off week 10 of the college football season with a Sun Belt showdown. James Madison, a 7-0 lead with the ball, and a very confident Alonzo Barnett playing arguably the best football of his career in the last couple of games.
Yeah, he's healthy. He looks confident, looks in total command of this offense.
You would never know he tore an ACL late in the year. He is rehabbed brilliantly, back at his best. Right on cue, finds Wayne Knight, and he's got plenty of speed. Check out the wheels. Wayne Knight all the way to the 10. He stepped on the gas for a monster gain of 52.
And this is the issue with Texas State's defense. Just too many busts. I mean, Wayne Knight is wide open. I mean, Barnett couldn't get the ball out of his hand fast enough. He saw how wide open he was. You see the speed Wayne Knight has. Again, why he's number 6 in the country all-purpose yards. He can run.
Up over 1,000 all-purpose yards on the season. And set up the Dukes for a 1st and goal. Here's Jordan Fuller, untouched, into the end zone. Touchdown, James Madison. Quick strike offense in just 2 plays. JMU goes 65 yards for the score.
And Jay, the minimum you have to have on defense, you got to have an edge. You got to form an edge on defense. And Fuller goes off to the left side there. There's no end, there's no linebacker caving down. It's the easiest touchdown he's ever scored.
This has been the Achilles heel for Texas State defensively all season. They play well, but not consistently, and in just 49 seconds, JMU gets a touchdown.
I mean, you got to be fundamentally sound. I mean, this is just a counter play. They're wrapping the H all the way around. There should be someone there to box that ball in, and someone come right off his backside and be there for the tackle. There's nobody there. Again, they create a lot of havoc plays. They're attacking all this and that, but some of the fundamental things defensively they're not getting done, which has kind of been their issue this year.
And those inconsistencies for Texas State, that's what's shown up in the 4th quarter in the last 3 games, which has turned a win into a loss. Now it's showing up in the 1st quarter against a James Madison team that is going to make you pay.
Yeah, because they are a fundamentally sound group that does the right thing, and they know where the weaknesses are. And if you have a guy that's out of a gap or a guy that's supposed to hold the edge, but he doesn't, they're going to find it. You're a well-coached, really, really good football team, and you just can't come out here and start this game like this.
James Madison with all the momentum. They've had the wind behind them for the opening 10 minutes. Texas State's going to run this out from deep in their own end zone. Jalen Jenkins gets past the 20, but took it an extra 8 yards out of the end zone. As we remind you, Saturday, week 10 of the college football season, SEC on ABC. How about Vandy getting things started at Texas? Story of the college football season, the Commodores.
Unbelievable.
Georgia, Florida, and then Oklahoma, Tennessee. Your nightcap, the SEC, all day on ABC.
We had Vanderbilt, what, about a month ago against Georgia State. And
Diego Pavia's the real deal.
They were trying to break the scoreboard that night.
Clark Lee's got that defense believing.
70, I think.
We said it then. Vanderbilt, if you take the name off the jersey, they look like a college football playoff team.
They do. They look like an SEC football team that is there for business.
Texas State trying to get this drive going on the ground.
But you see James Madison, why they're a good unit. On that play right there, they got the proper leverage. The guys are filling, they're coming down. They just spill that thing out to the sideline. Someone's there to clean it up.
Just playing with so much confidence, too. That goes for a 1st down. Trent Hendrick bottles up Greg Burrell. Back-to-back carries for Burrell, the sophomore from Las Vegas, transferred in from UNLV. 1st and 10. Bobcats going with tempo. Right back to Burrell. A 3rd straight carry. This time, no gain.
Texas State really leaning on their run game, and with how well they throw the ball, you forget that they're the number 2 rush offense in the Sun Belt Conference, averaging 231 rush yards per game. They're leaning on it here.
Jackson looking to the air. No, he'll tuck and run. And he slides right at the 1st down marker. It's another Texas State 1st down, thanks to their shifty redshirt freshman quarterback.
And Jackson's running ability is kind of what put him on the map last year. You know, last year they had a game against Louisiana. They wind up losing. Quarterback gets hurt. So next week against ULM, they put Jackson in the lineup. He ran for 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was kind of his first kind of welcome to college football moment, and he's really taken it from there.
The wins and losses don't reflect how well Jackson has played this season. Classic dual threat, and I think the misconception, Rocky, is the scouting report is he's just a runner, and G.J. Kinney was telling us he knows he's got a more than capable arm.
Well, and that was the thing in the offseason is they had a quarterback battle going on. People saw that ULM game last year and said, oh, yeah, he's just a running quarterback, and G.J. Kinney said, no, I knew all along. This guy was maybe our best quarterback on our roster last year, and he's really thriving here this season.
Desperate for points, already in a 2-touchdown hole. They go to the ground with Lincoln Perry. Sets up a third and manageable here. Third and 4. Jackson, quarterback keeper the whole way, falling forward. This will be real close.
Real close. I don't think he got it. See what the spot is. This will be short.
4th and a yard.
There's no question. They're going for it here.
No hesitation. With a flag before the snap.
False start. Offense. Number 66. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
Now that's the type of first quarter it has been for Texas State. A false start negates what would have been a 4th down conversion.
Yeah, top of the screen there. Yeah, there's the guard just moves, and you're trying to get up to the line and get a playoff, and now it's 4th and 5. There's no way you can go for this right here. This is absolutely the right decision. And you kind of got the feel that Texas State was just trying to keep a drive together until they could maybe get the wind at their back, but nevertheless, they're going to punt here.
They have to punt into the wind. Nunez. That ball just gets blown in the opposite direction. Wayne Knight calls for the fair catch. Well, James Madison been very impressive after they went 3 and out on their opening drive. Back-to-back touchdown drives for an Alonzo Barnett offense. It's in a great rhythm.
Really good rhythm, and Barnett, you know, what can you say about him? I mean, he's a guy that was beat out for the position, go back a year, and then he came on and he was playing well, then he got injured, and then he comes to camp and he's not quite healthy, and he's got to be in a quarterback competition with Matthew Sluka, and he's just the whole way is just produced, and now he's in a great spot.
Little trickery here. Back to Barnett. Steps up, throws. It's intercepted. Texas State takes over. They were not fooled on the reverse.
1st down, Texas State.
Jaden Rios stepped right in front of that Barnett bullet. Big takeaway.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird part of the field for a little razzle-dazzle. And Jaden Rio just absolutely closes on this football. He knew that Barnett was trying to find Landon Ellis, and he just stepped right in front of that thing. Just a bad decision for Barnett. You know, sometimes on those razzle-dazzle plays, you want them so bad to make them work, and sometimes, you know, that thing ain't there. Throw that ball away. Instead, it's a critical error.
What a swing of momentum here for the home team. Texas State down 2 touchdowns. They get the ball back, the 24-yard line. Going for the end zone. Jackson too much on it. Maybe trying to overcompensate for that wind in his face. Overshoots Chris Don Jr.
And this is definitely tough on a quarterback. Yeah, you got the wind right in your face, and do I take a little off and put a little extra on it and put a little too much on it, trying to throw into that wind and just out of the reach. Chris Don.
You like taking the shot there?
I do like taking the shot.
Empty set on a 2nd and 10. 40 seconds left of the quarter. Slant route. Pass is caught. Went right back to Don.
Just when JMU looked like it was getting ready to go on a drive and try to close this thing out, Big play by that defense.
And Texas State elects to not use another play here at the end of the first quarter. They're done going into that wind. It has been unforgiving in this first quarter. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So they will have the wind with them to start the second quarter. Trailing by 2 touchdowns. The road team, James Madison, they've come in and they've thrown the first punch. A 14-0 lead on the road. Start of the second quarter, and we have a massive moment in this game. College football primetime presented by Ram Trucks. Texas State trailing by 2 touchdowns. Bobcats have a 3rd and 7 trying to cash in after an interception.
Yeah, if I'm Brad Jackson, I'm finding Bo Sparks. There is a slot at the top.
Jackson looking that way, in trouble. Nobody open. Trying to pick it up with his feet. He slid right at the line to gain. And that is a first down, Texas State. Good spot for the home team. And the Bobcats move the chains. Big pickup.
They're back up on the line, going to run another one here.
Jackson thought he was going to keep it. Instead, a midair jump pass to Mavin Anderson. I don't know if Jackson knew he was going to throw that ball when he left his feet, and it's a touchdown.
It was clearly JMU's defense thought this was a run all the way. They're going to get up the line, and Brad Jackson's going to run it. And he does a great job selling the block, and as soon as the corner comes up to try to tackle the run, plops it over his head for a touchdown, and Texas State back in this game.
The home team Bobcats looked left for dead. JMU up 2 touchdowns. The Dukes get the ball back. They go for a trick play on first down. It results in an interception. Texas State takes over, converts the 3rd down, and then Jackson finds Anderson, and just like that, the lead cut in half. A big touchdown for the home team, Texas State. The Bobcats desperate for their first conference win of the season, going against a James Madison team that's at the top of the Sun Belt. They're trailing 14-0. Their redshirt freshman quarterback, Brad Jackson, delivered some magic on that drive. Cut the lead to 7. Rocky, you go back to that last drive, and Jackson really got it going with his feet, and that ultimately led to the touchdown.
Yeah, and JMU's defense is saying the only thing this offense has done to hurt us is Brad Jackson run. He's run 7 times on the night, and right before that touchdown, he had a 7-yard run. So I think the corner says, heck with this. I ain't going to put up with this anymore. He comes flying up to take away that run to the edge, and Jackson just plops it right over his head for the touchdown.
You played 8 years in the NFL on defense. I can't imagine anything more frustrating than a quarterback running all over you.
It's the worst. I think JMU at some point might have to spy him to take away that run.
And here's another mobile quarterback, Alonzo Barnett. We told you we've got 2 dual threat quarterbacks tonight, and both have showed their running ability. Barnett takes that for 15.
We already mentioned he had the 4 rushing touchdowns last week, but you see the speed, the explosion is back for Barnett, and a good idea on first down there to run. Remember, they are going into the wind right now here as they start this second quarter.
And when you have a quarterback that starts running on you, it opens up the pass. We saw that on the previous possession by Jackson. Barnett, so good using that as a weapon as well. Wayne Knight only a gain of 2 there.
I still like, for JMU, still like that screen game against this aggressive defense that likes to fly, they like to get upfield, like to come downhill.
Barnett surveys, in trouble. Down he goes. Texas State, a big-time sack. Kennard Snyder, the transfer from Iowa State, delivers. JMU went hurry up. And a timeout taken before the 3rd and long snap.
Timeout. Texas State, their first.
G.J. Kinney didn't like his defense ahead of a 3rd and 11. We'll step aside. So a hectic sequence here, all set up by a 2nd down sack, Rocky.
Yeah, it was, and there's the culprit right there. But it's everybody. This defense is just flying, coming getting to the quarterback, nowhere for him to go with the ball. And then they had too many guys on the field, did Texas State, had to call a timeout.
Well, after a second down sack, which sets up a 3rd and long, you very rarely see an offense go hurry up, and that's what JMU did. Texas State had some confusion in the sub game, and G.J. Kinney had to burn the timeout.
That's the guy they got to watch right there. Khalil Alexander must block him.
Ears pinned back on a 3rd and 11. Barnett gets it out to Wayne Knight, and he might have just picked up the first down. Needed 11. When did he get shoved out of bounds? Atwood was in coverage for Texas State, and they give him 11. First down, JMU. Big pickup on 3rd down.
And a good job of pickup there. They brought Khalil Alexander all the way from the right side, wrapped him all the way back around the left side, and just before he got to Barnett, Barnett found Knight for the pickup in the first down. That's a huge play for JMU.
And a backbreaker for Texas State. They were building momentum. Just scored a touchdown, about to get JMU off the field. Almost a fumble there. Barnett bounced it back to himself, got it into the belly of Fuller for a gain of 1. That could have been a disaster for the Dukes.
You don't like that. You kind of bobble the snap a little bit. You just grab that thing and tuck and see what you can get. Instead, he tries to hand it off to Fuller.
Fuller, this time a big hole opens up for the Holy Cross transfer, and he drags defenders for another James Madison first down.
And that's the key with the run game here, because again, Texas State, they're stunting, they're slicing down in, they're twisting. You just got to be patient, and because sometimes, you know, you do all those line stunts, you hit it in the back for a tackle for loss, but sometimes you're out of a gap and it can crease one. That's what JMU wants to find.
4 targets to the bottom of your screen, 1 at the top. Motion the tight end, Pfeiffer to the line. Barnett, one-on-one coverage, darts it right in there. Another JMU first down, Landon Ellis. How good has he been this season?
He has been absolutely fantastic, and he was flat covered on this. This is just a great wide receiver making a play. A little bit of a, I guess you call it a back shoulder, but he caught it right in his stomach. But just a good job coming back to the ball. The defender's eyes were turned away from the quarterback. He couldn't see it, and Ellis came up with it. 1st and 10 in the red zone.
They've really enjoyed Barnett in this empty set with 5 wide receivers. Again, busted coverage in the passing game. Sets up 1st and goal. Barnett went right back to Ellis.
It's too easy. You know, the quarterback, first and foremost, is taught, take what the defense gives you. If they're going to give away a slant route to a slot receiver, you just take it. Just take it. Now Texas State, you got to be aware of Barnett keeping the ball here in this area of the field.
9 rushing touchdowns on the season for the quarterback. This time he hands it off. Fuller trying to push that pile, churning those legs into the end zone. Touchdown, James Madison. How about the extra effort from Jordan Fuller? Bulldozing his way in for the score.
Well, it's Jordan Fuller and about every other white jersey out there pushing and pulling and get him all the way in the end zone.
A very late flag was thrown. Well after the touchdown signal.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 15. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The score is good.
That's Donterry Russell, the transfer from Mississippi State. Just a frustration foul after the touchdown.
You can see, look at his lineman pushing, getting low.
Great response from James Madison after Texas State gets on the board to cut it to 7. Their offense leaves no doubt. This was a scuffle after the score.
Yeah, right at the end, and it's right there by the official. And yeah, you just can't do that. But I think it's worth mentioning, Jay, we talked about how the wind affected Texas State. You know, they were going against the wind in that first quarter. The wind didn't look like it affected JMU on that drive, but they ran the ball, threw the ball, no problem at all.
Impressive drive. You're right, Rocky, going in to the win. 9 plays, 75 yards for the touchdown. The critical moment on that drive is Texas State gets the second down sack. It's 3rd and 11, and JMU goes up tempo after the sack. You rarely see that, and it forces Texas State to burn a timeout, takes the defense out of their rhythm. The moment I always think of when a team goes up tempo after a sack,
number 92 is in for number 3 for Texas
between
State.
Alabama and Georgia. In overtime, Alabama gets sacked. Before Georgia could even get back to the line, Devonta Smith was in the end zone winning the national championship.
Well, you're right. It looked like Texas State wanted to try to get some more pass rushers on the field. JMU caught them, and that was the difference.
Kicking off from the 50 after the personal foul. Easy touchback even going into the win. You can kick off your Week 9 NFL Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. They'll tell you everything you need to know, taking you right up to kickoff. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. James Madison, one of the hottest teams in all of college football. Perfect in Sun Belt play. A 5-game winning streak now on the road on a Tuesday night against a good Texas State team. A lot better than their record shows they are. A very talented offense that they've held in check so far. Brad Jackson right on cue, wrestled down in the backfield. That's Jacob Thomas. Arguably the best defender JMU has, and the senior safety delivers with another terrific takedown, loss of 5.
Well, I said last drive that, I mean, if you're JMU, you're saying the only thing that's really hurting us right now is the quarterback run. So they come out on first down, and they bring the house here, bring Jacob Thomas, and tackle the quarterback for a loss.
Jackson flushed right, throws on the run, busted coverage, big play, Texas State. Down the sideline, pushed out of bounds. Anderson, who's got the lone touchdown tonight for Texas State, a gain of 48.
But what created the ability for Anderson to get open, again, it's the running ability of Brad Jackson. He's scrambling to the side, he's fast. You gotta respect it, you gotta come up and cover, and that just creates an opening for Maven Anderson.
Anderson on the season only has 59 yards coming into tonight. He's already near that with a touchdown to boot. Going for it all, and that's a drop. Jackson had Chris Dawn in the end zone, and they couldn't quite connect. That should have been a Bobcats touchdown.
And that's the one the Bobcats wanted right there. They go up tempo, and Chris Dawn, we talked about his speed. He's got a step on Elijah Culp. He thought he had it. Oh. I'm JMU's defense. I'm putting a spy out there, something to stop the quarterback run.
Quick hitter to the flat, defended well by Elijah Culp. This will be 3rd and 10. Well, Anderson has been the go-to guy tonight for Brad Jackson. Usually it's Chris Dawn in Bo Sparks, but Anderson 65 yards on the night. He only had 59 on the season coming into this game.
There's Sparks in motion.
Jackson trusts his feet, trying to push that pile. This will be right at the line to gain. Gannon Weathersby was trying to drag Jackson back, and he did so successfully. Only got 8. 4th and 1.
Jay, you can tell that JMU this week at practice, they're saying, hey, man, we respect the passing ability of Texas State and Chris Dawn and Bo Sparks. We got to cover them up, and now they're finding out in this game that the quarterback run is very much a part of this game plan.
Texas State.
Timeout. Texas
Burns
State.
a timeout.
Their second.
Ahead of a 4th and 1. We'll take it as well. G.J. Kinney and the Bobcats offense trying to convert on a 4th and 1. Home team Texas State down, but certainly not out on a Tuesday night. College football primetime presented by Ram Trucks. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you midway through this second quarter. Critical 4th down here, Rocky. 4th and 1 for this Texas State offense.
Critical, and if I'm Texas State, I'm giving my quarterback Brad Jackson a two-way go. If he finds something he likes in the pass game, he can roll him out. If he doesn't like it, he can tuck it and run. Give him that option here.
Sandwiched in the backfield, both Sparks and Burrell. Hands it off, and he was stuffed. Only needed a yard. Will forward progress be his friend? Yes. Wow. Burrell got just enough. Needed one, got one. Keeps the drive alive on a 4th down conversion.
I'm putting the ball in the hands of Jackson on that play, but nevertheless, they pick up the 1st down.
Quick snap here. Jackson rolls left, throws on the run, and that is dropped. Bo Sparks couldn't come up with that. He's been reliable all season long for the freshman Jackson.
Yeah, you know, wide open, and that's like the 4th miscue they've had in the pass game. They had the tipped interception on the first drive. Chris Don has had 2 drops. There's a drop by Bo Sparks. Your best players, they got to come up with these. A game like this, you got JMU, best team in the Sun Belt. Here at your house, got to make those big plays.
And it takes the wind out of your sails after you get the 4th down conversion. You're trying to get into your tempo. Quick hitter here. Bubble screen, Dawn. Drilled immediately and dropped. Jacob Thomas again. He's been everywhere defensively for JMU.
Jacob Thomas, he's a former high school quarterback, so he knows the game. He has knowledge of just the scheme, not just what he does, but what everybody does. I think he's a guy that has a potential NFL future. Just, I mean, the athlete he is, but also just the overall understanding of ball that he has.
3rd and 7. Texas State in the red zone. Jackson steps up, looking to run. Down he goes. Couldn't escape that time. Aiden Gobira, the transfer from Notre Dame. Big time stop on 3rd down.
Good job of controlled rush. They get some of the pressure up the middle, and then you see the linebacker come right up inside, and then Gobira closes down on him. That's a great job of team defense.
On the previous play, we were telling you about Jacob Thomas. Who's come up slowly for JMU. His head coach Bob Chesney, joined by medical personnel to talk with Thomas. And we spoke at length with his defensive coordinator Colin Hitchler this week, and he said as great a leader as he's ever been around. Brings the guys around him and makes them better.
And he just has the ability to explain things to his teammates of where to be, and it explains the why, almost in the same way a coach does. You see him coming around the right side there. And that was Lincoln Perry cutting him down. Was inside the tackle box, so legal hit. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Texas State, in the meantime, has sent out their field goal unit team for a 35-yard attempt. It's the redshirt sophomore Tyler Robles. Robles from 35. Got it. So the Bobcats clawing their way back into this game. 3 points closer. Again, you're going against the top team in the Sun Belt. You just said it a moment ago, Rocky. It's got to be nearly perfect, and there's just been too many miscues in this first half for Texas State.
Yeah, this is on the first drive. The ball just bounces off the face mask, gets intercepted, and then you try to take your shot to Chris Dawn. It's an overthrow by Jackson, and that one was right on the money. And then there's Sparks, not able to haul one in. Again, just your room for error is just so much smaller when you're playing a team like JMU.
And you do come away with a field goal on that drive, but you're going against a JMU team that it feels like you just aren't going to beat with field goals. You need touchdowns.
I will say this, though. It's kind of like a little bit of a role reversal, though, because usually it's Texas State that's jumping up on top of teams, but they can't throw that knockout punch. JMU right now can't seem to throw that knockout punch. Let's see if they can here. Or they continue to let Texas State hang around in this thing.
The story of the season for this Bobcats team, particularly at Sun Belt play, is they've had 3 fourth-quarter leads that they've failed to hang on to. Maybe now being the team chasing instead of being chased could fare well, particularly at home. James Madison, an 11-point cushion, all 3 timeouts, 6 minutes left in this first half. And we've seen the version of James Madison's offense where they have been quick strike tonight, but very capable of long drives where they keep it on the ground, use some clock. Bob Chesney might dial that up on this possession. Barnett flips it to the speedster, Wayne Knight. And he turns a 2-yard gain into a 10-yard gain in a blink.
And that's what you want out of a playmaker. You know, it looks like, okay, we'll pick up a couple yards. Nope. A guy like Wayne Knight picks up a bunch.
He steps on that gas. You've compared him to Darren Sproles, who you played against in the NFL, and that's all I see when he touches the ball.
Yeah, it's the size. It's the fact that he can kind of hide behind those lines when they bust out, but it's also the torque, that 0 to 60. Man, he gets up to top speed quick.
Talk about top speed. Here goes Alonzo Barnett, the quarterback inside the 20. He was in a foot race with Javis Minot. Took her for 51 yards. Couldn't quite take it to the house.
Yeah, this is a design quarterback run all the way. Picked up a great block from Wayne Knight coming up on the inside. There's no one else left on that back end. That's why he's so dangerous. And that just sticks in the head of a defense. A quarterback run, we got to stop that, and it makes you a little bit less aggressive, and then he sits back and picks you apart.
Right back into the red zone. Barnett throws. It's caught. Touchdown, James Madison. What a grab. Josh Pfeiffer. That's only Pfeiffer's second catch on the season. Went up and got it for the Duke's touchdown.
And Pfeiffer is really more known as a great blocking tight end. But how about the athleticism? And Bob Chesney told us this week he thinks he's the best G5 tight end that there is right now. And he's shown why. A fantastic acrobatic catch coming back to that ball.
Here I am saying JMU's capable of a long, methodic drive. Well, they go 3 plays, 75 yards in just a minute 15 to go back up by 18.
Well, and they did what I said they need to do is, is lay the hammer down. There's still a lot of football to be played here, but coming off a drive where Texas State, okay, they get a field goal, we're hanging around on this thing, and you just slam the door shut and put up a touchdown.
There's their head coach, Bob Chesney, never satisfied.
And he's been talking to that line judge the entire game. I would love to know exactly what the conversation is, but he's making a case, isn't he?
And that has been since the first snap of this game.
First snap of the game.
Well, the one thing you need to know about Bob Chesney is he's a winner.
Yeah.
He has won at every level. Division III at Salve Regina, Division II at Assumption, FCS play at Holy Cross, and now at the FBS level, an 126-51 career record. Very similar trajectory to his predecessor at JMU, Curt Cignetti.
It's very, very similar, especially for being the same program. And yeah, turning around programs at every level, D3 all the way up to here.
Squib kick on the return, and Texas State just goes down with it right at the 25-yard line. You mentioned Curt Cignetti. Indiana up to number 2 as we show you the college football rankings top 10, right behind Ohio State in the Big Ten. Mike Elko getting things done. 8-0 Texas A&M. They go into Death Valley and win.
It's amazing, and it's the power of a great coach like Curt Cignetti. But I told you 2 years ago that Indiana would be
impossible.
A power, a literal power, and go to the playoff last year and now be the number 2 team in the country this year.
Even the James Madison fans who knew what they had in Cignetti and saw the brilliance that he brought to James Madison would not have said, oh yeah, in less than 2 years he's going to get them to number 2 in the country. Now, the thing when you talk to Duke's fans, it's, look, they've built a program that has sustained many different head coaches. They just reload. It's not rebuild, it's reload. There's a structure in place.
Structure, a standard that's set in place. When you take a visit to JMU, you know what that program's all about.
Now, we joked with Bob Chesney, and he joked back. He goes, yeah, the reload thing's a little easier said than done when you're replacing a full roster, it feels like, year in and year out, but they continue to find ways. And there's Maven Anderson, who on the season before tonight only had 4 receptions, 59 yards. That's his 4th catch for 74 yards tonight alone in less than a half of football.
Blitz.
Jackson off his back foot just throws it away. Not many times tonight James Madison has dialed up pressure to allow Jackson to
for intentional grounding,
run out of trouble.
Receiver in the area.
That time they bring pressure, and the redshirt freshman just throws it away.
Yeah, I mean, either way, every play you got to try to find a way to affect the quarterback, whether that's dropping 8 into coverage and not having any windows for him to fit a ball in, or sometimes like that, you got to bring some pressure and force him to throw the ball away.
Play action. Jackson slings it, threads the needle. inch perfect to Bo Sparks for a Texas State first down.
It's a good job by Jackson throwing that ball high. Jacob Thomas, the safety we've talked about, was right in that lane, but the ball was thrown high, perfectly thrown by Jackson.
Jackson trying to escape. No running room that time. Andrew Taddeo, fifth-year senior out of Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Loss of 1.
In the last couple drives, Jay, JMU's done a better job of not having those inside vertical rush lanes. Having more of a controlled rush, getting some of those bigger bodies like Taddeo right there, pushing that pocket back into his face, not letting him just run free right up the middle.
And JMU's best unit, and there's a lot of good ones, might be their defensive line. They have quality depth in that room that has shown up in this first half. 2nd and 12. Jackson checks it down. That'll set up a 3rd and manageable. Lincoln Perry out of the backfield. Gain of 7. Third and 5 in what is likely 4-down territory.
I was going to say, if you're Texas State right here, I mean, you'd like to get it all, but you don't have to. You at least got to get some positive yards to pick up, give yourself a better chance on 4th down. But this is all go right here with 2:08 left.
Busted coverage, wide open. First down, Texas State. Kylan Evans takes us into the 2-minute timeout on a monster game.
2-minute timeout
to put Texas State in business in the final 2 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, it was a corner blitz, and as soon as he saw him open, Brad Jackson put the ball in the money. Texas State driving here toward the end of the first half.
Thanks, Zubin. We've had a fun one so far. Final 2 minutes of this first half. A pitch on 1st and 10 from the 12. And Bob Chesney, the James Madison head coach, quick to call one of his 3 timeouts remaining.
What a fantastic play by Aiden Gobert.
Timeout.
On that play.
James Madison, their first 30-second timeout.
Played flat right down the line and took away the quarterback run, then still able to come back and tackle the pitch. That was an excellent play. Especially for a guy who's 6'5", 255.
A massive moment in this game. Texas State has trailed throughout. But they've got the ball here in the red zone at home against the best team in the conference. You are desperate to find the end zone ahead of halftime. Give yourself a chance going into the second half.
Absolutely critical. You've got to have a touchdown here. You score here, you make it an 11-point ball game. You go into half feeling pretty good about it.
Well, Texas State, the offense has not been the problem on the season, particularly in the red zone. They are 89%. That needs to show up here going against one of the best defenses in all of college football. Jackson throws, tip ball. It's intercepted. There's a flag down, and there was a whistle. Everyone kind of looked confused as Jackson let it rip. I think the redshirt freshman quarterback thought he had a free play. Barksdale's hoping that he's got an interception here, but this will likely come back for a flag pre-snap.
I just wonder if JMU had too many on the field, had 12.
You see Jackson, the quarterback, listening in to the officials there. A lengthy discussion at the 20-yard line.
Illegal substitute.
Bob Chesney's been on this officiating crew since kickoff.
Yeah, he has.
Illegal substitution. More than 11 players on the field at the snap. Defense. 5-yard penalty. It's second down. After the play was over, delay of game. Sideline interference. Defense.
Wow.
Half the distance to the goal. Results in a first down.
So a 1st and goal after all the penalties.
So I guess JMU is trying to get, different personnel on the field, but the tempo that Texas State goes with, they catch them with 12 and then.
Correction. Penalty does not result in a first down. It's second down.
Right, so now Texas State subs, so JMU has time to sub their personnel in.
Golden opportunity for the home team Bobcats here to capitalize. Jackson rolling right. Swarm, jump ball, and it's thrown out of bounds where nobody could catch it. Jackson under heavy pressure there.
And Jackson was trying to find Bo Sparks, number 11. He was the slot, and he's the guy. He's got that wiggle. He's really good in space, but just great coverage by JMU. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to Sparks here.
Someone's trying to get a timeout, and it's Texas State. We can hear it from the booth.
Timeout. Texas State. Their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
There's also the unlikely scenario. This is 3rd and 1 from the 3-yard line, so you don't need a touchdown here. If you just gain 1 yard, you give yourself 3 more cracks at it.
And I mean, that would be the perfect scenario, because then you allow some more time to waste off the clock and don't give time for JMU to answer with a score. But look, scoring's hard enough. If you can score, you score whenever you can.
And now it's G.J. Kinney's turn to be incensed with the officiating crew. This is a game where you'd love to have both head coaches mic'd up.
Oh, no doubt. I feel like he's saying something like it should be first down. I'm not sure what the case he's making here.
Two of the top young coaches in the profession going at it on a Tuesday night.
Two intense guys, both need wins for maybe different reasons, but that's just why you love Sun Belt Conference football here on a Tuesday night.
McKinney, first 2 seasons, back-to-back 8-win seasons. First time since early 80s.
Yeah, he's really turned this program around since he's been here. And I know they've had some tough losses this year, but chance right here.
3rd and 1. Jackson calls his own number, leaps into the end zone, touchdown, Texas State.
What a great play call. You'll see the center, Brock Riker, comes and kicks out. That was Amar Thomas. Just enough room on the inside for Brad Jackson to hit it. Boom, right there, the kick out. Didn't see it coming. Critical touchdown.
Best drive of the night for Texas State. They go 75 yards in 3 minutes. Took 10 plays to do it. They're right back in this thing.
And again, it's Texas State, kind of the role reversal. You can't knock them out. They keep coming back. Just when James Madison, okay, we're putting this thing away, going up 3 scores. Here comes Texas State right before the half. And it's really been the running ability, the rush of Brad Jackson. I think he's just changed the whole dynamic of this game. It just feels like JMU's defense is kind of on its heels a little bit. Do we come up and we tackle the run? Do we stay back for the pass? Texas State 223 offensive yards on the night. That's what they do. They put up yards every day of the week.
$45 points in this first half, a Sun Belt shootout on a Tuesday night to kick off Week 10 of the college football season.
Man, if Texas State could get a stop here and go into halftime, I feel really good about things.
So tomorrow night, star-studded NBA doubleheader. The Celtics taking on the Cavaliers at 7 Eastern. And then Saturday, it is UFC Fight Night. Garcia, Onama, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+. Now, yesterday was the sports equinox, Rocky, where you got NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL all playing on the same night. We've got every hockey team on action on ESPN1 with our Hockey Frenzy. You got college football on a Tuesday. Underrated time of the sports calendar here in late October. Deflected ball, the line of scrimmage. Texas State playing with some momentum here.
Yeah, bringing that pressure right in Alonzo Barnett's face. And you know, Barnett's just 6 foot tall, so if you get a little pressure in his face, you get some hands up, it's hard for him to see, especially across the middle like that. It's a great way to start this drive.
JMU keeps it on the ground with Petaway. North Carolina transfer tangled up. You do have those 2 timeouts for JMU, but you don't want to use them until you get that first down or that big explosive play.
Exactly, that's what you want. They'd like to, well, first thing they need, they got to pick up a first down right here. And then you start thinking about using timeouts to get a score. There he is right there. That's Khalil Alexander. Better have a plan.
Good protection, Barnett. Caught between two targets there.
It was actually Khalil Alexander with a tip ball. He shows the rush. He drops back in the hole and tips that ball.
And it lands between Petaway and the tight end, Logan Kyle.
Watch this. You see him just show a rush and drop back in the middle and gets a fingertip on it. Knocks that ball down.
And that shows that you don't always have to be rushing the quarterback to make a great play.
And I think that really messes up JMU. They've been hearing all week, guys, we got to block number two, got to block number two. Well, then he drops into coverage and creates a big play.
They went after the punter, Patrick Ray. Just got it away. Bo Sparks calls for the fair catch. And now Texas State, you're out of timeouts, but you are a quick strike offense. They've got more explosives than anybody in the country. 12 plays of 50 yards or more, so you can score in 41 seconds.
I'll say it's not 2-minute offense when this is the kind of offense you run all the time. I mean, this is like, you know, every day of the week stuff for this offense. They can put up yards and points very, very quickly. I would like to see them get Bo Sparks involved. He has just 2 catches on the night. He does have that 1 drop, but number 11 is one of your best playmakers. I'd like to see him get involved here.
No timeouts when the clock will stop on a first down or if they get out of bounds. Jackson rolls left. There's a flag down, and Jackson scoots out of bounds. 2 flags, one in the secondary, one in the backfield.
I think it was going to be pass interference, defensive pass interference on Bo Sparks. He got knocked to the ground. He was in the slot at the bottom here.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense, number 7. Personal foul, face mask. Defense, number 32. Penalties offset. It's first down.
There's the holding in the backfield. Yeah, he's kind of got his arm wrapped around him as Brad Jackson's flown to the outside or wrapped around Sierra West. There's Sparks right there.
Replay of first down. Jackson taking a shot. Bounces it in front of Chris Don Jr.
Tell you what, I mentioned Sparks and his, I haven't really got him the ball, but JMU defensively is making a conscious effort to press him and jam him and make him uncomfortable coming off the line of scrimmage. You can tell that was a big plan of theirs coming into this game. It's why they've limited the production of Sparks.
Down to just 29 seconds here ahead of halftime. Trailing by 11, no timeouts for Texas State. Jackson steps up, surveys, nobody open. Takes it for a first down, shedding tacklers. What a gutsy run by the redshirt freshman quarterback. Clock stops temporarily as they move the chains.
So they're right up to the line. They shouldn't let too much time click up. They're going to spike it.
Very rarely you see the shotgun spike.
Right, yeah, you're right. You don't see that too often.
That's not always on the menu. And I think...
And rarely do you see like super fast up-tempo offenses go with the spike. They're just used to going quick like that.
I think you run a play there.
Again, especially if your offense, like we've talked about, is built that way to go up-tempo, you're used to these situations.
Just 19 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Jackson throwing on the run. Finds Sparks, who gets out of bounds. 13 seconds remaining. They're into JMU territory.
This is a money drive. You got to find your money players. The ball's got to go to Chris Dong, got to go to Bo Sparks here. JMU, of course, knows that. If you're going to go down trying to get the ball to your best players.
Kicker Tyler Robles has a long of 50 on the year. So if you can get another 10 yards, he'd be comfortable to kick one. Jackson, right on the money again. They've got to spike this ball. 7 seconds remaining. There's the spike in Texas State. Perfectly executed. They can make this a one-score game headed into halftime if Robles can connect on the field goal.
Remember, as we've discussed this game, the wind now at the back of the kicker. He's kicking with the wind. Still a gusting wind here, but the wind definitely going left to right into the back of the kicker here.
Career long of 50. This is from 36. Robles. He missed it, but James Madison took the timeout.
Wow.
So
James
Bob
Madison.
Chesney trying to ice the kicker,
30
and
seconds
Tyler Robles misses that kick.
To 4 seconds. 4 seconds.
A gift from Chesney before halftime.
You love the cat and mouse game of the timeout before the kick, and do you call it? Do you act like you're going to call it and then don't?
G.J. Kinney says thank you.
Yeah, and they expect that ball to kind of hook in there, and it never did.
Robles makes JMU pay, cashes in after Bob Chesney gifted him an extra try. And we have a one-score game headed into halftime. Texas State battling back, 10 unanswered, with some momentum, down 8, headed into halftime. Let's get you into the studio. Zubin and the crew have you covered. We welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. Boy, did we have a fun first half. 48 points in a Sun Belt shootout on a Tuesday night. Looking forward to this second half to kick off Week 10. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. JMU, they came in 5-game winning streak, all the momentum. Texas State, they've lost 3 in a row, but this home team, Bobcats team, they are fighting.
No, they are, and JMU came in and did exactly what they wanted to do, which is kind of lay the hammer down early, and they were scoring, and it looked like they were going to run away from this thing. It was 28-10 at one point. Looking like JMU could just take control of this game, making big plays, but then Texas State comes battling back. They score the last 10 points of the half, and now here we are, Jay, an 8-point ball game.
And those 10 unanswered, Rocky, were scored in the final minute 37, including a field goal as time expired. Well, James Madison will start with the football, and still an 8-point cushion. But when this game was 28-10, it seemed very unlikely it would be a one-score game to start the second half.
Yeah. JMU is just desperately trying to lay the hammer and close the thing out, but they haven't been able to. They're leaving this very wounded Texas State team, leave them hanging around, see if they can make a second half out of this.
Fair catch called for. James Madison will start on offense, but you want to highlight that this JMU defense gave up 278 yards in the first half. Remember, they haven't given up 300 yards all season.
Now, you and I were there last week against ODU. They gave up 275 in the first half and still held them under 300 yards. I think that's a much tougher task with how explosive this Texas State offense is here.
Yeah, that game was 28-27 at halftime. It ended 63-27. JMU very much a second half team this season. Wayne Knight bottled up on a first down carry. Loss of 1.
And this, you can really feel the energy this Texas State defense is playing with. And they're getting some energy, feeling like they're in this game and competing hard against the best team in the Sun Belt right now.
You've got to give the Bobcats a ton of credit, a team that has lost 3 games in heartbreaking fashion in conference play. Here at home, battling, fighting, trying to pick up where they left off. JMU's got other ideas. Busted coverage, Nick DeJaneiro, touchdown! 76-yard strike.
And just as Texas State, we're talking about, they're coming out of the half with a lot of confidence. But it all starts with the protection. Great job in protection by Barnett. But then DeJaneiro just splits 2 defenders going right down the middle of the field and takes it all the way in. Wow. We talked about JMU needs to answer, right? Well, they did emphatically here in the second play of the half.
It was a low snap, but handled well by Blake Kendall. And James Madison goes up by 15. That is their third 50-yard or more play.
And you could tell Barnett, his eyes were dialed in on Nick DeJaneiro the entire time. They talked about this at half, got the matchup. He was on Jaden Rios, and that was all she wrote. Brandon Ellis with the celebration. And you could see those eyes of Alonzo Barnett. He was locked in on DeJaneiro the whole time, just waiting patiently for him to get open. They got the coverage they wanted, got the protection. Touchdown.
And how about DeJaneiro? That's his 3rd touchdown in the last 2 games after starting the season 6 games with no touchdowns. Incredible start to this second half. Less than a minute into it, with a 76-yard touchdown strike, and that brings all the momentum back to James Madison, a team looking to stay perfect in Sun Belt play. stay in the hunt for a potential college football playoff appearance.
It's just how many times can this offense, not just tonight, but throughout the season, keep answering, putting up points. Tough thing to do to go toe-to-toe.
Good return here by Anderson. Gets it past the 35-yard line, stepped out at the 36. To your point, Rocky, this Texas State offense has had to answer drives of 49 seconds, a minute 15 seconds, and now 47 seconds by JMU. These are quick strikes by the JMU offense where if you're Texas State, it's okay. I know you were just out there, but we need you to go do it again.
Get back out there in the I've played defense my whole life, and it's those quick scores that just painful, just body blows on a defense. And then, yeah, you got to get the offense back out there. They're looking at the defense like, guys, come on.
Jackson, they've trusted him all night. Puts it on the money again. Floated it up there for Bo Sparks, who comes down, gripping his left leg. Did well to hang onto that football with a gain of 31, but clearly grimacing in pain as Texas State's medical team comes out to take a look at him.
He goes up and climbs the ladder and just looks like as he came down, got twisted up a little bit. We'll find out more when we come back.
This is a football player right here. Bo Sparks makes a great catch on a gain of 31. He goes down, Boom, right to the table, getting the ankle tape.
Off comes the sock, more ankle tape, and yeah, look. I can tell exactly what happened. It looked like it was certainly on his left leg, which it was. He gets twisted up with Jacob Thomas, the great JMU safety. But yeah, look at that. Back on the sideline, putting the shoe back on, and looks like he's going to be able to get back out there. It's interesting, Chris Dawn, their other great wide receiver, was not in on that last play. We'll see if he comes out on the field here with Sparks going to be out at least one play.
You told me watching tape this week, those two guys, more than any team you've seen in all of college football, that's read number one, read number two, or vice versa.
Yeah, every progression, every pass route, 1 and 11 are 1 and 2 in the read. No matter how way they got to spin it, those are the first two options in that progression for the quarterback.
And right now, neither are on the field for the redshirt freshman quarterback, Brad Jackson, trailing by 15 after JMU gets that monster 76-yard touchdown to begin this second half. Jackson has answered with a big throw to Sparks. Can they finish this drive? Jackson in trouble, just goes down. Nobody open at JMU, suffocating Emmanuel Bush, the big defensive tackle, for a loss of 8.
Man, he had Titus Lyons, the tight end, wide open. You'll see maybe on the left part of your screen. Look, he releases late, wide open, but because of the rush, he had to take his eyes off the middle of the field.
Only missed one play.
Yeah, look at my guy. Bo Sparks out there, taped up. Let's go.
We need like a Rocky Boyman football guy of the week.
He's it for sure.
2nd and 18. Jackson in trouble again. Tipped ball. It's intercepted. Justin Eaglin still loose. Eaglin takes it all the way back to the 25. That is his 3rd interception in the last 2 games.
And it's the defensive line, Jay, that causes this tip. I mean, watch the interior defensive line. And there he is. Taddeo drops back and pops that ball up into the air for Eaglin. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, Jay, but JMU, certainly in the Sun Belt, I don't know if there's another defense in this conference that plays as well as a unit the way JMU does. I mean, the defensive line's making plays, helping out the secondary. The secondary will bail the defensive line out when they need it. Total team effort.
And Eaglin on a great return of 42 yards now puts the Dukes right back in striking distance. Pitch to Knight. Takes it into the red zone on a gain of 8. I'll tell you what, you simply cannot make a mistake against this JMU team because they just find ways to make you pay.
They do. They play with so much confidence. You know, when bad things happen, right? We saw that game against ODU last week. Gave up a bunch of big plays. Never looked like it really affected them. And the same thing is happening here tonight. That is the mark of a great team.
And it's starting to spiral on Texas State. Good stop there. Only gained a yard. Third and short here.
It looks like Knight and DeGennaro coming out of the game. Bringing some bigger bodies in for this 3rd and less than 1.
Now this is where running behind number 89, Josh Pfeiffer, has been so effective. He's on the right side of the line. They go right up the middle with Fuller. Only needed a yard. He dove for it.
They're saying they got the ball out.
Texas State saying they've got the football, waiting for a signal. The officials say 4th down. So they don't say fumble, but they also don't give Fuller the yard.
They're trying to get on the line and run a play here. And G.J. Kinney's calling for a timeout. Let's get another look at this.
Well, Texas State's defensive line was emphatic that they
had the
football.
And Kinney was jumping up and down, trying to call a timeout, see if we can get another look at this.
Fuller bangs in to fight for the tight end.
Yeah, no, he's down. He's down.
He goes down.
Yeah. I think for Kinney it was worth a shot, but he was certainly down before that ball came out. But nevertheless, I mean, still a 4th and 1.
You go for this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But for Texas State, I mean, easily the most critical play of the entire game here. You can stuff them on 4th down. You regain some momentum. If you don't, it's just, you know, JMU starting with a fresh set of downs and just rolling.
Well, James Madison only 4 of 11 on 4th down this season. If you do go for the field goal, you put yourself up by 18, make it a 3-score game.
And if you're Texas State, what was kind of really haunted you this whole season is critical moments of games. Defense just hasn't been able to come up with that stop, or someone hasn't been able to come up with that play that you need.
Offense on the field for a 4th and 1. Fuller stays in the game in the backfield. Don't be surprised if the quarterback, Barnett, calls his own number here, and he gets Texas State to jump. The ultra-aggressive Khalil Alexander.
Defense, number 2, 5-yard penalty, results in a 1st down.
Killer. And you can see they're
offside with contact.
They're gearing up. They want to come downhill and stuff this run. They know it's going to be Fuller into the B gap. And just, it's kind of the story of Texas State's season defensively. Just critical moment, can't come up big.
JMU with an opportunity to pour it on. 1st down after the penalty. Fuller. He just refuses to go down. We saw it result in a touchdown earlier, but it takes multiple bodies getting to the ball to put him on his back. Came over with his head coach, Bob Chesney, from Holy Cross at the FCS level to the FBS level, where both of them have proved they belong.
And in past times in the season, you'd see Matthew Sluka come in at quarterback here. No more. This is Lonzo Barnett's offense.
Sluka, another former Crusader. Barnett dragged down there. Only a gain of 2. Traylon Payne, leading tackler, makes another one for Texas State.
I'd get Wayne Knight back in. Here he comes. You know, they've been trying to stuff it up inside. Is this a scenario, an opportunity right here where you try to get Wayne Knight out on an edge? You got that defense packed in there. They want to take away that interior run.
Feels like if you've said it, it's happened tonight. Knight's at the bottom of your screen in motion. Barnett looking that way. Now rolls right, wide open.
Wow.
Easy touchdown, Logan Kyle. And it is all JMU in this 2nd half.
And a great job by Alonzo Barnett. This ball was designed to go to Wayne Knight on the little turnaround route, but it was well covered. He calmly just rolls out to his right side, scans the field. And he knows it. What a great play by a great quarterback.
Well, Texas State, they had the momentum going into halftime, but coming out of it, James Madison back-to-back touchdowns to take control. They've got a 22-point lead. put 42 on the board. This offense is rolling.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Well, there has been an offensive explosion here in San Marcos, Texas, and it belongs to the road team. James Madison, a commanding 42-20 lead. This is an offense that put up 63 points in their last game against Old Dominion. They are playing their best football at the right time of the year. They are rolling.
They are, and I'll tell you what, having watched the committee, how they look at things that they look out over the years, I think they like offensive output, and JMU is doing that here on their second straight week.
Well, if this lead holds, that'll make it 6 straight wins and a lone loss against number 16 Louisville. That's a strong resume.
Yeah, Louisville knocked off Miami a couple weeks ago. That's a strong resume.
Now, the American clearly had a better non-conference than the Sun Belt. So the American champion going into conference play, you felt, okay, whoever wins the American probably is going to get that automatic bid. But if there's chaos in the American, Bob Chesney's team keeps winning, and he told us, I don't want to talk college football playoff. We just got to keep winning. There's a lot of football left. But if they're sitting there at 12-1 with a lone loss to a really good Louisville team on the road in a game that, if you watched it, probably should have won.
Yeah.
Still playing 2 quarterbacks at the time. I think you have to factor that into the equation. You know, since Barnett has taken over, he's hit another gear.
I think a lot of consideration should go into how a team evolves, and do they get better? Do they figure things out? Do they, you know, kind of whatever their weaknesses may be, do they shore those up and get better as the season goes on? You could definitely make that case for JMU.
But they proved it on the road tonight against a Texas State offense that's been putting up near 500 yards per game in Sun Belt play.
And Justin Eaglin with another big play there. And last week he gave up a 98-yard touchdown. Oh my God, you know, but he got his head back in it and he's played big here.
Third and 4. Brad Jackson trying to keep Texas State in it, and he throws an interception. That's the third interception of the night. Xavier Holmes
is an interception.
fell
First
right
down.
into his hands.
James Madison.
And the JMU defensive domination continues.
In JMU, Xavier Holmes, he's up in the line of scrimmage, takes a jab step, jumps back into that slant window. That is just textbook understanding. What a great call by Colin Hitchler, the defensive coordinator, knowing they're going to try to go pick up the first down, get that easy slant route to the slot. They drop a defensive lineman into that window. Perfectly executed.
This is a James Madison defense that has 3 straight second-half shutouts. They might be on their way to a 4th. A lot of football left, but the second-half adjustments made by Colin Hitchler in this defense have been remarkable the last 4 weeks of this season.
Colin Hitchler is one of the best in the business.
Barnett, a stiff arm to avoid the sack, and he throws it away, gets it back to the line of scrimmage with Fuller in the area. So that will not be intentional grounding.
Yeah, never made it outside the tackle box, but I mean, how about the strength out of Alonzo Barnett to not go down?
There is no foul for intentional grounding. Ball across the line of scrimmage.
And watch this. He looks dead to rights right. Just a little stiff arm, refuses to go down, and still with enough juice to get that ball past the line of scrimmage. That was against Traylon Payne, too, the great linebacker for Texas State.
Barnett in the Duke's offense trying to capitalize on another short field. Barnett is loose. Alonzo Barnett continues to do Alonzo Barnett things. Gain of 23.
Remember last week, Jay, against ODU, the second half is when the running of Alonzo Barnett really started.
Please reset the game, the play clock for 40 seconds. 40 seconds on the play clock and start on my signal, please.
There's just a sense, you know, the good quarterbacks in the big moments of games, they just take over. And Alonzo Barnett, here we are in the second straight week in the second half, really starting to just take over.
Barnett, quick hitter. This is Sanchez. Dragged down just shy of the 5-yard line.
This JMU offense, they just give you so many things you got to worry about. You got to worry about Alonzo Barnett with the quarterback run. You got to worry about Wayne Knight, the speedy running back, getting to the edge. You got to worry about the bubble screen. You got to worry about all the great wide receivers they have. This is a powerful team.
And it has been on full display in this second half. It was a 1-score game, 28-20 at the break. We're not even midway through this third quarter. The JMU looking for some serious separation. That was a direct snap to Wayne Knight. Couldn't find a free running lane, though.
Great job by Jordan Sanders, the defensive tackle. That was a tricky play. Fought off a couple blockers and made a nice tackle.
Right back to Knight, this time barreling forward, has the first down. So a 1st and goal upcoming for JMU.
Comes Jordan Fuller back into the game. Wayne Knight will go out. If they get their bigger running back, Fuller goes 230 into the game here inside the 5.
You probably keep this on the ground, but you have Landon Ellis in one-on-one coverage, bottom of your screen. Barnett barrels in for another JMU touchdown. The Dukes have scored 2 touchdowns in this second half off Texas State interceptions.
Bringing bigger bodies, an extra tight end, the big running back, Jordan Fuller leading the way, and Lonzo Barnett putting on a show.
He's well on his way to back-to-back Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week honors. In this second half, they have found a new gear. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 2 of those coming off Jackson interceptions. This has been a remarkable third quarter on both sides of the ball for the clear top team in the Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah, State just running the ball here on this drive. Lonzo Barnett, good job just kind of patiently waiting behind Fuller until the daylight opens and hits it. You know, he's a guy that he's so good after the play call is over. Whatever the play call is, you know, you have faith if you're Bob Chesney, and okay, say the defense covers it up. He just has that ability to make a play, whether it's a run or he's going to scramble around and find an open receiver. He's special.
For as good as the James Madison defense was in the first 6 games of this season, holding all their opponents under 300 yards, they had only created 5 turnovers. In the last 2 games, they have created 6. Wow. And it has resulted in 35 points. They have cashed in on those extra possessions. And we saw James Madison in their last game against Old Dominion continue to pour it on. I think part of that in the back of your mind is let's get some style points. Because 100%. If we can put a statement to the College Football Playoff Committee, why wouldn't we?
No, I've said it earlier. I've watched the committee over the years and things they value, and they like stats, they like offense, they like points, and that turns some heads. And Bob Chesney's going to take every advantage of it that he can. You can see the wind here. It's the second time in a row. They'll have to bring a holder out now.
Well, we've said it throughout the night, but wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour here in Texas tonight.
I feel like it hasn't really affected JMU, though, right? I mean
it did on that first drive, but they settled in very quickly.
And that was it. But other than that, hasn't affected them.
Rogers with the hold, and it was a good one. Texas State's going to return this with Jalen Jenkins deep in his own end zone. Ball came out, a flag came out as well. As it stands, it's JMU football. And the flag looks like it's a hold against Texas State. So the Dukes could very well take over. Ken Willis is who fell on it.
And Kai Holmes just absolutely laid the wood down.
The result of the play is a fumble recovered by James Madison. They're in the return, holding on the return team. Penalty is declined.
Wow.
It's first down.
So it goes from bad to worse to disastrous in this third quarter.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get a decent return here, but wow.
JMU is already outscoring Texas State 21-0 in this third quarter, and they're about to get the ball inside the Texas State 30-yard line.
Kai Holmes and Mekhi Rogers with just a sandwich hit, popping the ball loose. You just mentioned the takeaways, and
there's another one. It is the 3rd straight drive that JMU will start inside the Texas State 35-yard line. Football becomes an easy game when you're getting that kind of field position.
Right. You know, when you're starting your drives inside the 30, things are going to go your way.
And Bob Chesney's got his foot planted
the previous
on
play
the pedal.
is under video review for potential targeting.
So the booth has initiated a targeting review, which would obviously negate the fumble, and give Texas State back the ball. So while they review the targeting, we'll step aside, give you some looks at it. When we come back, JMU well in control of this one, up by 29. So on the kickoff return, there was a fumble from Jalen Jenkins that the booth initiated a targeting review.
And I think this is unfortunate because Kai Holmes basically pinballs the returner into Mekhi Rogers, who then hits him with his helmet.
So by the letter of the law, it is targeting because, again, you've got the crown of the helmet.
I don't like that call. That kid gets kicked out of a game for a literal bang-bang play. You're right. I mean, by the letter of the law, it's targeting, but you know,
so I know you're not the biggest fan of European soccer, but I'm going to go on a limb here for an analogy you might understand.
I'm waiting for this. I want to know where you're going.
When there's a handball in the box, if it's really close, like within a foot, they say even though it did hit his hand, it's inadvertent, so it shouldn't be a handball. Maybe that should be adopted with the targeting.
You lost me. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, if it's within a yard like that, right? Because he gets pinballed into his path.
But I've done this before. You know what I mean? Like it's such a bang play. I just hate a guy gets kicked out of a game for this. If that's in.
And Rocky, for those that don't know, played 8 years in the NFL at linebacker, but also running down on kickoffs.
Ran down on my fair share of kickoffs.
And that's why you feel for Rodgers, because technically he did everything that he was supposed to. He filled his lane, he got to the ball.
Yeah, and was, lined up for the right thing. But
After
just
video
boom, boom.
review, personal foul.
Look at Chesney.
Targeting on the kicking team, number one. Number one is qualified. The holding on the return will be enforced.
I think Chesney agrees with me on that.
Ball, first down.
And most importantly, it negates a fumble, right? So it was JMU ball at the 28-yard line, and now that look says it all from Bob Chesney.
Yeah, that look right there is
And if you have not been with us since the beginning, Bob Chesney has been giving those looks to the officiating crew since kickoff.
Which is a little bit uncharacteristic, because he's usually kind of a stoic guy. And
very positive.
Very positive. Hey, not let things affect us, but he has been in the ear of the officials all night tonight.
So Texas State, because of the hold, the ball goes back to the 10-yard line.
And here's another thing, as Texas State is trying to get back in this game down 29. Chris Don, I don't think has taken a second half snap. He's one of their best wide receiver targets. He's on the sideline right now. Doesn't even have his helmet in his hand.
Texas State keeps it on the ground. Brad Jackson, the redshirt freshman quarterback, who's been outstanding this season for the Bobcats, despite the record, he has been a bright spot. Coming into tonight, he only had 2 interceptions on the season. But tonight, he has thrown 3 against his James Madison defense. They run it for a second straight play. Defended well by JMU.
Yeah, and there
Chris
he is.
Don that you were just talking about, Rocky.
Yeah, and you can see that he's not holding his helmet, so that gives you every indication he's not going back in this game anytime soon. A huge blow for Texas State as you're trying to mount an epic comeback.
Texas State has been on the receiving end of some epic comebacks in Sun Belt play. At the end of the first half, they showed signs that they would be the team potentially coming back, but JMU has closed the door in this third quarter, outscoring Texas State 21-0 since halftime.
Pressure.
Jackson on third down. Just a little off. The wind might have played a factor on the pass attempt to Bo Sparks. Texas State forced to punt it away.
Yeah. DJ Barksdale, great coverage on Bo Sparks. There's G.J. Kinney trying to keep things positive here.
Nunez punting at his own goal line. Wayne Knight awaits the punt. Line drive punt. Knight doesn't go near it, and it's another short field for this James Madison offense. Okay, so let's take a look at the All-State playoff predictor. The metrics don't love James Madison, considering they're a one-loss team, and the one loss is against Louisville. And I think it factors in that the Sun Belt just wasn't that strong in non-conference play compared to the American, who's got the 4 top teams.
I just wonder if JMU is getting punished. They had a 14-7 win over Georgia State, who's a 1-7 team. I think that maybe factors in.
How about the fact that Memphis beat South Florida?
That's the one.
They're the ranked team.
I thought that was a mistake, and then we checked it, and I don't understand that.
So this is what I'm going to say, and I know those are ESPN numbers, All-State playoff predictor numbers. I don't buy the numbers this time of the year. There's a lot of football left.
Yep.
I'll say this. If James Madison wins the remaining games on their schedule, they are going to have a far greater than 6% chance to make the college football playoff.
100%. And I just feel like there's going to be more chaos in the American Conference between North Texas and Memphis and South Florida. Tulane, obviously, a part of that.
If Bob Chesney's team plays like they did against Old Dominion when they scored 63, and they've done tonight, 49 so far, I don't think anyone in the Sun Belt will be able to touch them.
I think for James Madison, you're hoping for a two-loss American Conference champion. You know, and if you can win out and win the Sun Belt and have just one loss to Louisville at the end of the season.
Yeah, Louisville's ranked 16th in the country. They beat Miami. I think the killer for JMU fans, that game's on a standalone window Friday night early in the season, and if you watch the game like you and I did, JMU outplayed Louisville for 3 quarters.
They did, but in the history of the playoff, I feel like early losses aren't punished the way late season losses are.
100%.
You know, so I think that's a big factor in this.
Well, the one thing Bob Chesney said is there's a lot of football left. You have to keep winning. JMU playing winning football. Another 3rd down conversion. This time it's Fuller. Rumbling and bounced out of bounds. Gain of 17. JMU pushing all the right buttons in this 3rd quarter.
And they look consigned to just run the ball. Look, a little full house backfield. Just, we're going to run the ball and you try to stop it. Wayne Knight back in the game for Fuller.
Nope. Barnett keeps it himself. You know, last week against Old Dominion, we saw Sluka come in for Barnett when this game was in hand in the 2nd half. Wouldn't be surprised if they go to Sluka again. And Barnett, a player that tore his ACL a year ago. He looks 100% full go, but if you know you're going to win this game, there's no reason to put extra wear on those tires.
Yeah, I think JMU, the plan would be to just run the ball, get another score here, and then in the 4th quarter, might be time to see Matthew Sluka.
This is his 4th career game with 5 or more touchdowns. And his 2nd straight. He had 6 in that ODU matchup.
And JMU is just a complete team. I mean, we see the offensive output, talked about the defense, also special teams. I mean, they've run 2 fake punts this year. They've blocked a field goal against Louisiana. They down punts inside the 5. It's just a total team effort, all 3 phases.
They've been loving this formation on this drive with 3 in the backfield plus Barnett. The football, you've explained it to me, Rocky, sometimes it's an easy game. You get +1 in the box, you usually get positive yards.
And especially now, you're riding the momentum. And football is such a momentum game, as everyone knows. And you just sense that this Texas State defense, they came in energetic, they made some good plays early. But, you know, now inside their heads is like, oh, God, here we go again.
Right back to Fuller. The JMU just getting a really good push. Although a flag in the backfield. JMU will be going backwards for the first time in a long time.
Holding. Offense, 79. 10-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
And Bobby Crosby, the Texas State safety, is down in the secondary.
Officials timeout.
Crosby, the 5th-year senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Oh. Yeah, he came in, got hit there, and that play was ended.
He ran into his teammate Chase Davis. You see all his
bringing the board out.
fellow teammates taking a knee. The cart comes out for Bobby Crosby as he continues to get treated by multiple medical personnel for Texas State. We'll step aside as Crosby continues to get treatment here. There's a player down for an extended period of time. That is Bobby Crosby, fifth-year senior safety, who's been attended to by Jeremy Cobb, the head football athletic trainer, and his terrific staff. We were told during the timeout that Crosby will be taken to Seton Medical Center, 9 miles away. Top ER and trauma center in the area. Head coach G.J. Kinney and all of Bobby Crosby's teammates have not moved since taking that knee shortly after Crosby went down and got attended to.
You see Kinney coming over, check on Crosby here. And this is just the part you hate about this wonderful game.
You see Kinney giving the thumbs up there over to the James Madison sideline, and both benches have completely cleared here in support of Bobby Crosby. Bobby Crosby on his way to Seton Medical Center, 9 miles away in Kyle, Texas. So many people working in unison, led by head football athletic trainer Jeremy Cobb, to do their job to make sure that Crosby is taken care of in a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah, we'll say some prayers for Bobby Crosby here. Great player, great young man, 5th-year senior. And now the hard part, as well as
as Crosby's taken off in the cart. You see that thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
We will get you an update on Bobby Crosby before we sign off the air tonight.
And now the tough part for his teammates here that got to try to put that out of their heads and come back and play a whole nother quarter of football.
Now, you played 4 years Notre Dame, 8 years in the NFL. How, as a teammate, do you try and get to that next play when you just witnessed that?
Yeah, it is tough. You just got to do your best to hope and pray that your teammate's going to be okay and try to focus back in on this game. Very tough to do.
Easier said than done, for sure. Jalen Sanchez just a stride off with Barnett, and there's a flag that comes in.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 60, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Yeah, and you get 3 yards. Zachary Greenberg definitely downfield.
Well, James Madison, after they put in a dominant third quarter, outscoring Texas State 21-0 since halftime. They've been moving backwards. 1st and 25. Barnett, nobody open, so just takes it comfortably out of bounds. Well, we'll likely finish it for the third quarter. The third quarter that certainly belonged to JMU. This game was 28-20 at halftime. 3 touchdowns by Alonzo Barnett, and this offense have created some serious separation as we head to the fourth quarter.
That's the end of the third
everybody
quarter.
who watched the final couple of minutes knows that everyone in these stadiums' thoughts are with Bobby Crosby in Texas State. Well, JMU, a second half team to say the least, and here they are with the ball at the start of the fourth quarter on the road on a Tuesday night, where they have outscored Texas State 21-0 since halftime, and they're looking for more. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. And that's what the JMU offense has done. The JMU defense in second halves this season. They have now 8 straight quarters without allowing a single point. The last point scored in a second half was in the third quarter against Georgia Southern, all the way back on September 27th. Been more than a month without letting up a second half point. Barnett slings it over the middle. It's caught. That's Jaylon Sanchez, his first grab of the night. Well short of the sticks, and the Dukes will settle for a field goal attempt, try and increase their lead to 32. A 31-yard field goal attempt for Morgan Suarez, the lefty. He is just 3 of 6 on the season. They haven't needed many field goal attempts this year. They're good at finishing drives for touchdowns, and Suarez connects. So a good night to be a James Madison fan on the road. There's Carol Benassi, and she is our random fandom of the night. We actually met Carol at the Old Dominion game, and she's a Texas native. Her love for JMU goes back to 1982 as a student. That's her on the far right.
Yeah, there she is.
She's had to love her Dukes for a long time from afar, living in Texas for more than 35 years, where she was the chair of the Dallas alumni chapter. When JMU started making regular trips to Frisco for the FCS National Championship, her JMU fandom took on a life of its own. She took over the JMU Nation fan page, nearly 34,000 members, which led to opening 5 Purple Nation stores selling JMU gear nationwide, all while still living in Texas. She goes to every home game all the way in Virginia, most road games too. This one an easy one for her in her home state of Texas.
I mean, that's how you build a fan base, right? Just set up posts all over the country. Very proud program at JMU. Keeps growing.
Now we've been doing Random Fandom for almost 2 years now. This is the first road fan we have done. And Carol got quite the tailgate going, more than 100 James Madison fans in the Texas area. And they were partying it up in Lot 5, which was, about halfway to San Antonio.
They were out there a little bit, a little ways.
But a good crowd. I think winning football games, right, leads any fan base to get to that fever pitch.
That's the key, right? Is you win a lot of football games. That's what brings fans back over and over and over.
And look, Carol's always loved JMU, going back to the early 80s, but getting this team to win national championships in Frisco and her helping set up the tailgates. This was the pregame scene we were talking about. And you would think this was a home game, but they're doing it on the road. And I'll say if the fans left in the stadium, there's still tons of purple. I want to know how Carol got down to the field.
She's been down on the field most of the game. We've had eyes on her pretty much the whole time. Hey, when you bring a collection of fans together like that, you get some special privileges.
The one thing she told us, and this is a missed opportunity by you and me, is that she's good friends with Charles Haley, who played for James Madison in the early 80s. They overlapped for 1 year. And he went on and had a incredible career, maybe one of the best careers in all of pro football. 5 Super Bowls with the 49ers and Cowboys.
I mean, before Tom Brady went off and won, what was it, 7?
7, yep.
Yeah, he was the guy you grew up with. I grew up as a kid. Wow, he went to 5 Super Bowls, won 5 Super Bowls.
And that career started at JMU, and he was here hanging out with Carroll and a bunch of JMU alumni, but we were hoping they were going to swing him through the booth, but he never made it our way.
What a dominant player. An interesting cat, too, if you've seen any of the documentaries on him, but proud JMU alum.
Fourth-round pick. That's pretty good value, right?
Yeah. He's on 2 Ring of Honors, right? 49ers
yes.
And Cowboys.
He's in the Niners and Cowboys Hall of Fame. Texas State converts on a 3rd and 7.
I mean, that almost says more than the 5 Super Bowls, to be in the Ring of Honor in 2 great franchises.
It's tough to do.
I mean, is there another person with that honor?
You're very much putting me on the spot. I'm going to say I'm sure there is.
We're on it.
Texas State still battling here, down by 32. Redshirt freshman quarterback Brad Jackson. He's got a bright future in front of him. These 4 games that have likely all resulted in losses in Sun Belt play is not going to define that young man's career. I think the problem for Texas State is, G.J. Kinney comes in, first 2 seasons, 2 8-win seasons. Then you announce you're joining the Pac-12, your preseason picked up there to potentially win the conference. So this is viewed as underachieving. But
yeah, and let me.
Jackson in trouble again, suffocated.
To that point, the folks that are like, oh, we got to get rid of you got to remember where this program was for most of its history, literally until the last couple of years. Not in a great place. G.J. Kinney has come in here and done absolute wonders here at Texas State. It's just one of those years for him. I think he is one heck of a football coach. It's been a tough year.
You thought this could be the one, right? At home on a Tuesday night. You got the top team in the conference in your place. And again, first half, you're right there. 1 possession game, and wheels kind of come off here in the second half, getting outscored 24-0. Pushing and shoving on the special teams, but no flags come out. JMU ball up 32 when we come back. James Madison up big, 52-20 on the road. Getting week 10 started in the college football season. This season has flown by. How are we already at week 10? As J.C. Evans comes into the game at quarterback for the Dukes, leading by 32. College football headlines, Rocky. When we were in Baton Rouge for week 2 of the season, LSU's fresh off that win at Clemson. And how by week 9 is Brian Kelly out of a job?
Absolutely amazing. You looked out on that field and you saw the players they had and the belief that Brian Kelly seemed to have, seemingly more so than any other year, just in talking with him, and total turn of events down in LSU.
They decide to clean house, and in a very competitive year to look for a college football coach too. We've seen so much turnover already. I'm sure there's going to be more to come. And I'll tell you one man whose phone is certainly going to ring in the next month, and that's James Madison head coach Bob Chesney. With all the openings and all the success that he has had, not just at James Madison, but just throughout his career. 16th year as a college head coach, going from Division III at Salve Regina to Assumption College, Division II, Holy Cross, FCS. He has won at every level, much like his predecessor, Curt Cignetti. Blown up in the backfield there. James Madison's gone to the backup quarterback, J.C. Evans, who let Collins shoot in there for a loss of 6. There's Chesney.
And like any good football coach, no matter what the score of the game is, he's out there coaching ball, always wanting his guys to perform better. We talked earlier about his success, and I think it almost says more that you've been able to have success at every stop you've had. It's not like you've came in on a program and happened to catch a good class and you ride that out. Everywhere he's been, he's rebuilt and performed.
Well, we showed you the college football headlines. The #1 headline was Brian Kelly losing his job. #2 was Chesney's predecessor, Curt Cignetti, getting Indiana up to #2. And I think Cignetti's going to reinvent the model here. It used to be, let's get the hot coordinator. And now it's, let's get a guy that has won everywhere he's been as a head coach.
I think that's an excellent point. Yeah, and look less at who's the guy that can put up 500 yards of offense every single week. No, who's the guy that's shown he can win everywhere, shown he can build programs from the ground up if he has to. I think Bob Chesney has done that.
Evans goes to the air. Hit as he released it. That's just the second throw J.C. Evans has attempted this season. Usually it's Matthew Sluka who comes in for Alonzo Barnett in relief. Evans, the third-string quarterback. Maybe just getting some reps for Evans here in the fourth quarter in a 32-point game. There's Sluka. Fair catch called for, and did a nice job to hold on, DJ Taylor. James Madison has this one well in hand, 6:33 to go.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Tuesday night to kick off week 10 of the college football season, and it has been all James Madison in this second half. The Dukes trying to make a playoff push of 52-20. As we're talking playoffs for college football, early season NBA doubleheader tomorrow night. Cavaliers at Celtics, Lakers at Timberwolves on ESPN. Texas State has gone to the backup quarterback. Brad Jackson is out of this game. Holden Guriner, the redshirt junior from Savannah, Georgia, transferred in from Auburn. And this is Guriner's first action of the season. And the toughest part for Texas State is you have proven throughout this year you can move the ball offensively, and that has stopped in this second half.
I'm just still amazed that halftime this game was 28-20, and Texas State's in it. They scored the last 10 points of the first half, and then JMU 24 unanswered.
And a lot of that is about the Duke's offense, which has done everything they've needed to do in this second half. But this defense, led by defensive coordinator Colin Hitchler, there is something, there's a secret sauce in the locker room. Because what they do with adjustments from first half to second half has been remarkable, not just tonight, throughout the season. This would be their fourth straight game with a second half shutout.
It's, you know, coming up with an original game plan, admirable. That's, you know, what you have to do, but even more admirable is, to your point, being able to figure out what the other team's doing. What's their game plan? What are they hitting us with? How do we adjust? And implementing that. And Colin Hitchler is an absolute master at it.
He was part of the defensive coaching staff that helped create the Cincinnati dominance with Luke Fickell and Marcus Freeman. Went with Fickell to Wisconsin for one season, was poached by Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama staff a year ago, was one of 3 co-defensive coordinators. Didn't like that setup, didn't work for Alabama, and he joins Bob Chesney this year at James Madison, and they have been a masterclass defensively all season long. And this is the first game where an opponent has put more than 300 total yards on them. And that's just part of the way Texas State plays. Hitchler knew it was going to be tough to keep that streak intact. They've held them to 352, but in the second half, they've completely shut them down. This would be 9 straight quarters with a shutout in the second half.
And there's Hitchler. And to your point, this is an offense that scored, or excuse me, put up 500 yards of offense the last 3 games, and holding them at this point under 340. Pretty good.
What's amazing about the Hitchler-Chesney relationship is it goes back to 2010 at Division III football at Salve, Virginia. It was Hitchler's first college job, and they reunite 15 years later to put together one of the most dominant defenses in all of college football. Second half shutout is intact. 3:49 to go for JMU to run this clock down. Week 9 Monday Night Football matchup, Cardinals at Cowboys. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli Manning have you covered with the Manning Cast on ESPN2. Earlier tonight, we were talking about Cowboy Hall of Famer Charles Haley, who started his prolific Hall of Fame career with James Madison in the early 1980s. You said, Rocky, is he the only NFL player to be in 2 Ring of Honors? And you did win a Super Bowl with a guy named Peyton Manning. Well, he's in the Colts and the
Officials
Broncos.
timeout.
Yep. Smoke Collins down after the play. Collins looks to be okay, and now a Texas State player stays down. If you weren't with us earlier in this game, at the end of the 3rd quarter, Bobby Crosby, the Texas State safety, went down, was carted off and taken to nearby hospital 9 miles away. Still efforting an update on Crosby. The last thing you want to see if you're a Texas State player or just a football fan in general is another injury. That's Terrence Cooks. Good to see him limping off. The last update we have on Bobby Crosby is taken to Seton Medical Center in nearby Kyle, Texas, 9 miles away. We saw him with his eyes opening up, and he did give the thumbs up going off the field. I would love to give you an update, and we will before we sign off the air on this Tuesday night. A game that definitely the headlines will read. James Madison domination in this second half on both sides of the ball. Quarterback keeper. It's the 3rd string quarterback. J.C. Evans into the game, picks up the first down. JMU is just the 3rd team this season to score 50+ in consecutive conference games. The other 2 being North Texas and South Florida. 2 teams also fighting to get into the college football playoff. How about that? Last 4 games.
And we were talking about this earlier. I mean, beginning of the season, the defense really leading the way, and certainly still doing a great job. But now these last couple weeks, this offense put up 62 last week, and so far 52 tonight.
2-minute timeout.
JMU takes it down to the 2-minute timeout. An impressive road performance to stay perfect. It's Sun Belt play. Saturday, our SEC triple header on ABC kicks off right down the road from where we are in San Marcos. Austin, Texas, number 9 Vandy taking on the Longhorns, and then it's Georgia, Florida at 3:30 Eastern Time. Oklahoma, Tennessee is your nightcap. Another terrific day for college football this Saturday. SEC on ABC. How is it already week 10 of the college football season?
It's November here in a couple days. It's wild.
Hold on a second.
There's some diehards.
Somebody's mothers are screaming at the television to put a shirt on. Down 32 on a Tuesday night.
Going. Yeah.
That is college football.
It started with that guy right there, and he's
now we got 5
more
of them.
coming. There's 5.
No.
Yeah, now he's going too.
All right, you know
now
what?
we're talking.
I'm doing
Let's
it,
go.
Rocky. No.
Please, please.
Lowering the boom up 32 on the road. That is the type of night it has been for JMU. This craziness continues. That was Trayshawn Dye. He is listed as a linebacker. Running the football.
Getting a carry, man.
On the road, up 32. The headline coming out of this game is James Madison is for real, and they are going to make a college football playoff push. They have left no doubt the last 2 weeks. 63-27 against Old Dominion, now 52-20 on the road against Texas State. And if you allow me to dream for one moment as we get ready to put a bow on this one, how great would a 5-12 seed Indiana James Madison?
Oh my gosh.
With Kurt
Very
Cignetti
cool.
playing his former program. There's Bob Chesney, who told us, I don't want to talk college football playoff. There's too much football left, a lot of football left. But guess what,
Sorry,
Coach? If you keep winning,
sorry,
we're going to keep saying it. And they left no doubt tonight. A second half shutout for the 4th straight game. 24 unanswered to win this one 52-20.
and it wasn't like they dominated from the start. Remember, this was a 28-20 game at halftime. It was a dogfight, and JMU just came out after the half and just poured it on.
He's Rocky Boyman. I'm Jay Alter. Let's get you the Sports Center. It was hockey night on ESPN. We'll get plenty of hockey highlights, I'm sure. So long from San Marcos.